So, this is Wurthering Heights. To begin with building this house, I started with the fencing around the house so as to gauge the size of the house. Now, from my imagination, I've always imagined Wurthering Heights is quite large. Even though what they said that Emily Bronte's inspiration for Wurthering Heights is quite a small house, I've always imagined it as a big house. I've always found that the small details would be key for building Wurthering Heights because they prove that it actually is Wurthering Heights. You'll see why that dog's there in a minute. And after I built the fencing, I built this little house here. I put 3 horses in there, one for Catherine, one for Hindley, and one for Heathcliff. That was the inspiration I got from that was the scene or chapter where Heathcliff wants Hindley's horse, and so they have a scrap about it. The little lumps around the side of the house are supposed to be fireplaces. Yep, there's another dog, and the reason that there is more dogs is because they are Skulker's dogs, or the Skulker is the mum or dad of the dogs. And that's just another little detail, as well as the Hareton Earnshaw 1500 on front of the door. This is supposed to be the little hut that Hindley stays in after his wife dies, and I thought to make it as small as possible because there wasn't much mention of it, so I always imagined it as quite small. I tried to put glass windows in there just because it follows the Gothic convention. It doesn't really fit with Wurthering Heights being a poorer place, but I feel like it fits with the Gothic convention more. Again, it's a bleak, following Gothic convention, there's bleak sides everywhere. It feels very isolated. And this is the inside. Again, it's a pretty big place. So, in the book, there is explicit mention that there is no passageway. When Mr. Lockwood says he enters the place, there is nothing. So I've always imagined that the kitchen is to the left, because it also says that there is no mention of any crockery. Again, some of these heads on the mantelpiece and the knight sit over there isn't really relevant to Wurthering Heights. I just think that it fits in with the Gothic convention pretty well. So, this here is the kitchen, and it's just full of kitchen-y bits, sort of to make it look nice. And so, above the kitchen, as you'll see, is supposed to be Joseph's, Zyla's, Nellie Dean's sleeping quarters sort of thing, and the pantry. So that was the idea of that room there. So these are all the bedrooms, and it sounds like quite a confusing place from Isabella's talk of it. She said that she didn't know which room to go in, she was scared to go in any room or anything like that. This is supposed to be Heathcliff's room because it's the biggest room. Well, this is Heathcliff's room once he owns Wurthering Heights. I always imagine it's quite grand with fireplaces in all of the rooms, as you'll see. Again, it's bleak. You can't see anything on the horizon, sort of thing. It just adds to the feeling of isolation, which is a convention of Gothic, which is a Gothic convention. Yep, see, it feels very isolated in this house. It's a very tall, very empty sort of house. Even though there's quite a lot of bits and bobs laid around, it still feels empty. Now, the reason I added the stairs here was because there was a scene in the book where Hindley drops the baby off of the banister and Heathcliff catches it. So I needed to add the stairs above the door so as to fit with the description of the house. Again, this sort of isn't in the book, but I think it fits well, sort of secret trapdoors. This is stairwell to Catherine's room. Well, Catherine's room when she goes crazy, that is. And I feel like it's just a nice secret place. Again, it isn't in the book because she isn't locked away, but I've always imagined this as like being Catherine's room sort of thing. This is also the room where Lockwood sleeps and has the hallucination or the supernatural event, and that is why the tree is in front of the window, because there is mention of trees rattling against the window. All of the white bit up there were spider webs or cobwebs. Everything's quite grand, like the chairs and everything just looks gothic. And so that is Wurthering Heights, pretty much. So have a little aerial view where you can see everything, but that is essentially my creative project. And yeah, I felt like the thunder and rain was fitted quite well with it. Oh, the windows work well. They look very gothic. There was banisters in the room, and yeah, that is Wurthering Heights. Thank you for watching.